I'm going to start recording.
This
Okay.
meeting is being recorded.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Just told this meeting is being recorded.
Yeah. No, it's amazing, man. I mean, I didn't know what to expect, and every night was different. You know, different parts of the country, crowds react completely differently. You know, in Manchester and Glasgow, it was like there'd never been a pandemic. In other places, it was a bit standoffish. The festival was like totally normal, but then two of us got COVID after it. And you know, so
Two of your bandmates?
sorry.
Two of your bandmates did?
Yeah, two. One was fine, back to it after 10 days, but the other was very ill. So we ended up doing a tour after that, but we did it as a 4-piece because he was really ill.
That's fucked up, man. How's he doing? He's all right?
Yeah, he's good, man. He's good. But still not 100%, you know, still getting there.
Yeah, you know, the fucking shit it's, you know, look, man, one of my sons had the shit, you know. I mean, it's no bullshit, man, you know. I mean, actually, fuck, my mother-in-law, her husband, you know, several and a lot of friends of mine have had it, and you know, I've known a few people who've died from it, and some people who had real bad leftover, you know, side effects. I mean, you know, but
Yeah.
and you know, life is fucking. It's you know, if it's not one fucking thing, it's another. I mean, we're always getting, you know, blasted with new fucking new ways to die, new ways to suffer.
Yeah, I mean,
New things to work around and try to figure out, you know.
Yeah, all part of the cosmic plan. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever the fuck that is, I don't know, but you know, one day at a time, I guess. You know,
Yeah.
I'm always like, you know, at any given moment, a fucking meteor could hit us, you know, before we even fucking finish the sentence. So, you know, just be grateful for the fucking, you know, for what's happening right now. And,
Dude, stay clear of the action movies, okay? Because
no, I'm just like, hey, shit goes, you know, we're always living like, you know, we're always lucky to fucking have whatever's going on because this the it's all
yeah,
such a crazy fucking balance, and we're as as important as self-important as we are, we're really quite meaningless. And
absolutely. Like,
oof,
like, like,
there goes a planet.
like the great Bill Hicks once said, "We're just a virus with shoes."
For real though. I was
No,
watching a program the other day on slime mold, and it's like a one-celled thing, and it can think, and it's one cell, and I'm like, fuck, this thing has purpose. It's like doing stuff, it's figuring things out, it's solving problems, and it's one fucking cell. And here we are, all we do is like complicate the fuck out of shit and fuck ourselves up, like start wars and fucking, you know, destroy each other. Fucking, it's like, fuck, man.
yeah. Well, that's what we're best at, you know, fighting amongst
Oh, we're
ourselves.
fucking good, man. We're fucking experts at fuck up.
Hey, I'll
It's
tell you what. I'll tell you what. This is a cheerful beginning, isn't it? Everyone's gonna.
I
Every,
think so. I
yeah.
mean, you know,
Everyone's going to be glad they've tuned into
there's more
Harley and
busy
Howard.
fucking gloom, doom. Ah, you
Yeah,
know what? At the end of the day, it's like that's what I'm saying. Just gotta fucking be grateful, man. You know, and, you know, I feel great, man. You know, I was just sitting here before thinking about, you know, my wife, my kids, and just how grateful I am for all these things in my life, you know. And it's like if you don't recognize how fucking easily everything can be taken away, you know, you, you got to really live in the moment, man.
yeah,
You know,
absolutely. Well, I think the pandemic taught us all that. You
I,
know.
I fucking hope so. I mean, I've always lived really on the fucking edge, you know, my whole life. But hopefully, you know, we all take something good out of this. You know, this was rough, man, especially for the young people who haven't had any real crises, like world situations that they've ever dealt with. And here they are, you know,
Yeah.
fucking finding out, you know, pandemics and now this shit with fucking Russia and all this. It's like they're getting, you know, they're experiencing all this type of shit for the first time. Us old heads, you know, it's not like
Yeah.
our first rodeo. You know, we've seen some crazy shit already. But so, you know, I know this is, you know, it's got to be some tough times to be a fucking kid. You know.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, you know, I mean, at 52, which is how old I am. You know, these are the darkest times I can remember, even as a kid. You know.
You know, quite. I guess. I don't know. I mean, for me, like, quite honestly, I was always living by like the fucking skin of my teeth, man. You know, it's like so. I really what was going on in the big picture was not, you know, I mean, I was literally, you know, stealing to eat and like not, you know, barely. I don't know how, you know, I think back and I'm just like, I don't know how the fuck I made it through my teenage years and this and that and everything else. And I guess I was really self-absorbed for so much of my life with either just survival or drug abuse or whatever the fuck it was that, you know, to me, it was life was just chaos and the world was chaos. And I guess that's why, you know, that's why a lot of my lyrics were the way they were, you know.
But do you look back now? I mean, and you think, I mean, you're just saying there that, you know, those years you look back on and you're like, you know, you're stealing to eat and, you know, it's hard times. And people must, you know, I'm thinking, how the hell do you then be in a band? Do you know what I mean? It's like daily life is like a real grind for you. And then like you find all this
Well, I
extra
mean,
energy to somehow manage being in a band.
honestly, it wasn't about having extra energy. It was like if I didn't have that musical outlet, I would have definitely fucking exploded like completely. I mean, because you know, I mean, for those who haven't read my book, you know, you should fucking check it out. Not that I'm trying to pitch my book here, but you know, it'll explain a lot. You know, it'll just explain a lot because you know, I mean,
I'll put a link. I'll put a link to it in the
yeah, I
description.
mean, you know, because you know, it is hard to understand it. That how did someone keep their shit together as far as being a productive musician and this and that while being in a basically a homeless, you know, living in squats, not having you know the basic necessities of life, you know, and
Chaotic lifestyle. Yeah.
yeah, you know, and so there was, you know, we were lucky that at sometimes, you know, there was different, you know, throughout the history of the band, there was a lot of different circumstances. You know, we had friends that hooked us up and we lived with, took care of us, whatever, on certain level. You know how it is. I mean, fucking, you've been in a band.
Yeah.
And in the early days, you know, the only one who really lived at home and would like pay for the practices, you know, my family would give me a few bucks here and there. I didn't have shit. Paris would be like, you know, paying for practices. John would be out hustling. We were really like hustling, you know, whether he was selling weed or fucking, you know, doing bike messenger shit. And, you know, it was like, you know, it was funny, man. Cause like, I mean, I didn't have electricity. I was living in a fucking squat, you know, and I'd come up with a riff and I would call Paris's house and like be like, don't pick up your phone because I'd want to hum the riff to his answering machine. So we would lose the riff. You know, like
Brilliant.
that's how like saving and shit. It was like fucking it was ridiculous, you know, it was ridiculous.
So no, but
You know?
you see, Harley, you were way ahead of yourself because even then you were saving stuff on your phone. You
I
invented it,
guess,
man.
yeah.
You
Well,
just invented it.
I guess come to think of it, I guess so, you know. Well, you know what? That you know, it was just like, you know, you did what you had to do.
Yeah.
You know, and I was actually talking to my wife about this shit the other day. She, you know, we were talking about, you know, food. You know, we're sitting here, you know, talking about food and this and then. She's like, "Well, how'd you, you know, what were you eating back then? You know, when you were living in squats?" And I was like, you know, fruit, yogurt, like for breakfast. You know, fruit, yogurt, this and that. And she'd be like, "But how?" And I was like, "Oh, I fucking shoplift the shit." You know, I'd go hit the health food stores and I'd steal a bunch of brown cow yogurts because that was like, that was my kick. I'd get some of those yogurts and I'd hit the fucking the fruit stands, the little Korean fruit stands, and steal some fucking melon or a cantaloupe. I'd like fucking grab it and fucking take off running down the street. Like I had a whole little, you know, and then I'd just go sit in the park and eat my, you know, cut my melon. And I'd be sitting there eating all my stolen food. It was like fucking, you know, that was my routine. I mean, and this is, you know, we were a gigging band, and I, you know, and I had already been in, the stimulators and all that shit, been like, playing in punk bands coming up. But, I guess, the desperate times, I guess it built character or something. It made me a character.
Yeah. Yeah. Just cause, yeah.
It's a cartoon character.
But it's kind of weird though. I mean, I was thinking about it the other day, right? I mean, I'm 52, and I formed the band around sort of 84, 85 when I was 14, 15 years old.
Yeah.
And it's still what I'm best known for. And you're in the Cro-Mags at such a young age, and as one older gentleman to another, do you ever look back on do you ever look back at it now and just think, it's incredible, this thing that started off where it is, and the fact that it's still relevant in your life is just.
You know what, man? I'm even more taken back by, my involvement in the punk scene in the 70s and playing in the stimulators when I was like 12, 13 years old, and, being around people like the Clash and, Johnny Thunders and the Ramones and like the real OGs of punk rock, fuck hardcore. I mean, I was there from the fucking start. So for
Right.
me to have grown up around people like that, and then to be
Right.
going out on tour with the Exploited next month, pretty much championed the fact that punk would not die. When everybody else had pretty much declared it done, dead, and over with. They come out with punk's not dead. So fuck everybody. And I've known Waddy since their first New York gig back in I guess I don't know, fucking early '80s. I don't even remember what year it was, but I was at their first show. And again, there's a pretty funny story in my book. but but anyway, so it's going to be really cool to go out and play with those guys. And for me, I'm an old head, and so just to see the fact that there's like, I don't fucking go to shows. Honestly, I don't fucking go out. I live my life. I play music because I play music. I could give a fuck about scenes, going out, doing this. Fucking, I like being around my wife. I like spending time at home. I like fucking. I do my own thing. So to go out and see these crowds of young people that are still like really fucking pumped and really enthusiastic about the shit that I was doing when I was a fucking kid, like generation, zero of this shit. I mean, I really, if you fucking go back in New York punk history, I'm more or less there at fucking ground zero of this shit. I was like a fucking 12 fucking year old in the room with like all this madness going down, and the fact that I survived through all that bullshit and then took it to a whole nother place of insanity, because you gotta figure when you're that young and the adults around you are complete total fucking out of their mind shit show. Well, that's how your brain is getting wired. So that's all you know. Yeah, I didn't fucking know anything else. I didn't know what that was normality for me.
Yeah.
So the idea of, I mean, and that's why I'm like pretty much, not just lucky to be alive, but kind of slightly damaged goods, because it's like when, I've had this discussion with my family members who, are a little sketched out thinking back, like, sort of, they didn't get it because they themselves had their own, trauma and their own this and their own that. But like, when everybody around you is living a life that is pushing the envelope to such a fucking degree that the people who are the most fucking outrageous are actually admired the most, and the people who are like doing the most amounts of drugs are revered, and the people who fucking die are looked up to, and it's like almost a reverse reality. It's like the
Yeah.
more fucked up and out of your mind you are, and the more you don't give a fuck about life itself and just want to party and fucking bust a nut and get as high as you can until you fucking hit a wall. literally like hit a wall. So, you know, when you grow up around this motherfucking shit, before you've even like figured out, you know, I was saying to my fucking wife, man, I knew how, you know, I knew what I knew what getting laid was before I knew what the alpha fucking bet was. You know, I could, you know, you know, I knew sex before I knew the fucking, you know,
Yeah.
how to fucking spell, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, people fucking, you know, when people fucking romanticize all this shit, I get a little bit annoyed sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, like when, you know, and I always would get real pissed when like my mom would like romanticize all that hippie bullshit because I was like, you know, mom, you really did kind of fuck me up, you know, like
Yeah.
really kind of bad, you know, like really kind of bad, like because what you thought was freedom was just like, you know, if you don't have some sort of, you know what, if you love somebody, you're gonna, as a parent or as the adult in the room, you're supposed to put, when you give them boundaries, it's not like you're shutting down their ability to be free. You're trying to protect them from the stupidity of youth
Yeah.
because, you know,
Yeah.
hopefully you've figured a thing or two out your fucking damn self by then. So it's like, you know, obviously people are going to do what they're going to do. You know, I got a 19-year-old son. I got a 17-year-old son. You know, you can raise them, you could try to instill your beliefs, your values, your everything else, but they're going to make their own choices, and some of them are really going to piss you off. Some of them are going to sicken you. Some of them are going to be like, "How the fuck did you come out of my balls?" You know. but but you're going to love them, and I've more or less started to figure out the only thing you really can do is like set the example that you want to be. You know, keep trying to strive for what you believe, and hopefully that will rub off if it has any
Yeah.
real value. If what you're striving for actually has real value, you know, then that will win in the end, I believe. You know, but people need their own time to figure it out.
Yeah.
So, you know, took
Yeah.
me fucking way too long. You know.
And and like you say as well, some of the choices will, you know, will disappoint you at the time, but will also
Hey
in
man,
given time turn out to be the right choice. You just, you know, you never
bro,
know.
the shit that I was doing at my kids' age, man, are you fucking crazy? You know, you know, so I just got to take a step back every once in a while and like, you know, be like, hey, man, but always be willing to listen and always be willing to try to lend my advice and also be aware that my advice may not be perfect or you know,
Yeah.
I also have limited knowledge, limited experience, and I can only be honest uh, with the information and the pain that I have acquired. You know, if you don't share your suffering, you know, people can't really, you know, if they're going through something, they're not going to listen to you unless they know that you have really felt that pain yourself.
Is that what you're doing when you're songwriting? You share it to a certain extent. It's sharing that suffering. It's
You know what? I guess it kind of is unintentionally. I mean, because you know,
yeah.
I've always been, you know, I've always been a songwriter who tries to write mostly from my own experiences. There's very
Yeah.
few times where I've tried to put myself in the head of someone else,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
Write what you
because
know. That's what they say.
yeah,
Write what you
yeah,
know.
exactly. You know, I mean, and in that, you know, the fact is, despite the different circumstances that we go through, you know, it, culturally, you know, in every way, you know, where we live, you know, in so many ways, despite all the differences in class, everything, you know, we all share the same feelings. You know, everybody suffers. Everybody feels sadness. You know, everybody feels happiness. Everybody feels fear. Everybody has experienced different emotion. We all have the same emotional makeup, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So you can write lyrics that pretty much anybody can relate to, despite what their circumstance is, because everybody's been, I think everybody has felt afraid, whether they and with how they conquer it or don't is how.
Well, and as we both know as well, people will apply their own narrative to
Yeah.
the words you've written, and they might mean something completely different to them, but just as relevant.
Yeah, and you know what? I get a lot of people that they say, that my music got them through some of the hardest times of their life, and that itself gave me like a renewed um in I don't even know fucking what I was gonna say, not enthusiasm, but like not it just purpose. I don't know what it just makes you feel.
A mission refresh. Just kind of refresh the mission.
Yeah, well, it just kind of reminds you that this shit is more important than just you sitting there fucking. I'm not alone in this. Like other people are really feeling it too. And the fact that I've always felt really humbled and honored that people bring my music in out of the. My music is part of the soundtrack to their lives. A lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, people have fucking tattoos of my song titles and shit like that. Like this stuff is really important to people. That's powerful shit. Like, who could have ever imagined that you would have such an impact on people's lives?
I'm exactly the same, mate. That to me is like, that's the ultimate. That's better than any review. That's better than any.
Yeah. Motherfuckers cover my songs at weddings. I mean, motherfucker, you know what I'm saying?
You've made it then. You've made it then.
I'm just saying, it's just like when you've written songs that are like standards in the world of your genre, it's kind of like that shit is it's fucking, pretty humbling. I mean, it's like, I'm definitely not over here like sucking my own dick. I'm actually quite amazed that not that it turned out that way, and that this shit is even, it's great to be able to be appreciated for what you do.
Yeah. I can never wrap my head around the fact that somebody feels the way about my band that I feel about a band that I love. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like to think that maps that I'm that band to them is like,
Yeah, I mean, there's only a few bands that I grew up really being like I am definitely a fan of music, but there's very few people that I've ever really been in like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm meeting this person or whatever. And quite honestly, it's usually been like, I guess it's kind of corny. It's usually been athletes and shit like that, more so than musicians. Because I've always been in fucking music. I've been around fucking musicians my whole fucking life. So it's almost just like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like half these people, I feel like I've known them even though I don't know them. Like the first time I fucking met Billy Idol, I'm like, we're just like bullshit. And we're like talking to each other like I've known this motherfucker for 30 years, right? But we're just like, because we're both been in the same room in so many places growing up. It's like, so we don't really know each other, but we don't need to know each other. We know each other. It's like, yeah. Fuck,
Yeah.
I can't wait to get out and fucking play it on, man. Really looking forward to the tours. We got the Exploited tour coming up, and then we're going overseas and doing Europe and the UK. We got a lot of shows in the UK coming up.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to be at I'm going to be at Bloodstock. You're on Bloodstock, aren't you?
You know what? I don't know where the fuck I am, man. I don't know anything. I'm
Would you?
that guy.
Would you? Would you like me to? Would you like me to read your tour itinerary to you?
Sure, why not? Tell these people where I'm playing, because I don't know. I'm curious. I mean, actually, you know what? I don't really give a fuck. I'm just happy to be playing. I'll fucking play at your fucking mom's house if the back line is good. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, I'm exactly the same. That's what I'm a firm believer in. Play anywhere. If there's a stage, doesn't matter if there's a stage. Actually, right? Yeah, I'm going for this Chromax tour dates.
I remember one time I did this gig in the fucking woods, right? And it was like the only lights when the sun started going down with the parked cars like shining at the band playing. I don't know where the fuck they had like a little thing. Oh my Christ! It was like you could see one house in the distance, like the light from the kitchen. It was like 50 hardcore kids in the woods. It was fucking hysterical.
Oh, brilliant, man. Well, look, I've got your tour dates up now. Harley,
what are we doing? I know we're starting in France, right?
Well, I've just got UK dates here.
Okay.
So you start June 21st, you're in Glasgow. Stereo, not played there.
I've never
know about that. Edinburgh Bannerman's on the 22nd, the Wednesday, not played there. Can't help you, sorry.
This is gonna be great, man. I've never fucking been there.
26th, you're in Bolton, not played there. 27th, Newcastle, the Newcastle upon Tyne, the Cluny. I've played there. Good venue. You'll have fun there. 28th of June, Leeds Brudenell Social Club, played there. You'll have fun there. 29th, Southampton. 30th, hello. I will see you on the 30th of June at London Underworld.
Oh, I fucking love that place.
Yeah, awesome gig.
Damn, man, it's like a fucking little UK tour there, man.
That's more gigs than most UK bands do on a UK tour.
That's fucking cool, man. I'm pumped, man.
Yeah.
I think we got some shows in Ireland coming up as well. Like I don't really. It's gotten confusing because all these shows were originally booked right before Corona happened. So it's like things kept getting pushed back each year. And so some of the venues have changed. So obviously the dates have changed, by a few years, in fact. So I don't know what the fuck's happening. I'm just like, dude, get me there. I got all my bases fucking lined up. I'm already trying to decide which bases am I bringing. I'm like fucking pumped, man.
Oh, that's awesome. So
let me ask you. Yeah, I'm thinking about bringing my Guild Hollow body. I don't know if you've seen that one, the red one that I play a lot of times. Or I'm thinking about bringing that and my Rickenbacker. I don't know.
Right. Well, can I be completely honest with you?
Yeah.
I'm a singer. One guitar is very much the same as another to me.
All right. Well, anybody listening, if you have any thoughts, man.
Yeah.
Let me know if you want to. I think I'm going to bring Rick.
Yeah. Just because I'm in a band, I've been in a band for 30 years, doesn't mean I know anything about musical instruments.
Right, well, we all know this. See, this is what singers really know about music.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm right out there. I'm LSD. I'm riddled with it. Lead singer's disease. Absolutely. Yeah. That's my problem. Well, no, you're doing this. You're also coming over and doing Rebellion, aren't you, in Blackpool in August?
Yeah. I believe so. I've seen us on the posters, but then again, like I say, man, I'm a little punch drunk from all this Corona shit. I've been seeing us on posters for the last fucking 2 years. I don't know what's happening,
Dude,
I think we're doing it.
Yeah.
I believe we're doing it.
Back in the day, we came up with a phrase that we just applied forever on everything, and it was "believe it when you're on the bus."
Yeah, dude, I believe it when I'm there. The bus could be going somewhere else. That bus could be taking you somewhere. I've been on some bad bus rides. One took me right to Rikers.
Well, it is. I know how you feel. When we were going up to doing our dates, I was like, we packed and left, and I didn't feel like we were going anywhere. Do you know what I mean? I didn't feel like we were going to a gig. I
well,
still couldn't, even on the way there, I was kind of like, right, I'm starting to come around to the idea that I'm actually doing a show now.
yeah, I'm just like, I'm a little antsy. I'm a little, actually, I don't say like nervous about playing, because I've been playing my whole life. It's been such a fucking break. This has got to be the longest I've ever taken off from doing any live shows since I was like a fucking kid. So it's a little, I don't want to say difficult for me to work myself back up. I'm just like, it's a little, I guess I got like butterflies or some shit, you know, which usually means that it's going to be that much more explosive, because I never have stage fright, because I've been playing my whole fucking life. Like, I remember the fucking first time I got up in front of like 30,000, 40,000 and up and shit. And it really didn't change anything. I was just like, okay, it's big crowd, big stage. Okay, let me just, I got a lot more stage I got to fill up. That's all. Like, I wasn't really sweating it, because I've been doing this shit fucking since the fucking 70s. All right, I'm kind of over that. And that's, you know, so like, that's actually why I started grappling, like, in tournaments and stuff, because I get more nervous when I got to fight someone in front of referees and fucking an audience and this and that. So I kind of started doing that to give myself
the thrill.
That, yeah, you know, and you know, like a couple times I sang at friends of mine's shows and I didn't play bass, just for the excitement of, okay, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna explode. I don't know what the fuck to do. I'm not holding an instrument. I'm going to actually combust. You know, they're gonna have to peel me off the fucking walls here. So, but I'm feeling a little antsy like that. You know, I'm feeling like, fuck, you know. So that being said, I think I'm probably, you're gonna probably see a pretty fucking intense me on this tour, man.
Well, I was just gonna say, has that manic you know, gone forever? Do you still, or?
No, dude. I mean, for those who don't follow my Instagram, man, fucking, you tell me, man, I'm fucking doing like hanging leg lifts, fucking going crazy, getting ready for dropping from like sets of hanging leg lifts right to push-ups to fucking, you know, I'm working my ass off, getting myself ready to represent. You know, I'm gonna be that motherfucker that grown men want to be when they fucking get older. I'm gonna be that motherfucker that I want. That's my goal, is to fucking be I want to set the example that I want to fucking aspire to. Like, fuck aspiring to be anything other than setting that fucking example myself. I'm so fucking grateful for life every day. The other day I was sitting here and I felt lazy and I felt a little like cold on the inside. So I said, let me go for a walk. And then I got to the park and I just fucking worked out for fucking 35 minutes. And that was before my workout. You know, I came home and I just worked out with hands. I'm not working out with weights and going crazy and trying to be some psycho gym dude. No, man, I enjoy life. I work with bands. I work with my body. I do pull-ups. I do push-ups. I stay fucking physically. I work out at least 5 days a week, because it's good for your mind. It's good for your body. It keeps me, you know, bro, you gotta attack life with an appetite for it, man. It's gotta fucking, and I'm getting myself ready. I'm going to kick the shit out of this fucking tour, man.
Well, do you know what? I'm going to remind you of everything you just said when I see you at the very last date of the European tour in London, right?
Bro, I guarantee you that I'm going to fucking devour this fucking tour, man. I'm going to eat this motherfucker. The intensity that I have, the fucking willingness to kill my opponents. I plan on going on that stage, and for fucking 45 minutes to an hour or whatever I have, I am going to fucking annihilate every fucking buddy in that room and hopefully leave them dead and smiling.
Awesome. That's brilliant, man. That's brilliant.
That's my goal.
Well, look, I've got some subscriber questions, if that's okay with you.
No, fuck these motherfuckers. No.
Right. So this is Robert Osborne. And
What up, Robert Osborne? Any
what
relation to the OG Osborne?
Ozzy? Not that I'm aware of. He's not a secret hidden love child that I'm aware of. um, his first question is, how hard was it taking over singing duties on Best Wishes?
Man, you know something? That's a great question. It was a
Yeah, I
real
thought that. Do you know what? When I read it, I thought, oh shit, that's a great
yeah, no.
question. I've been beaten to it.
You know what, something, bro? I actually did not know if I would be able to do it as far as performing and doing both. When I did the record, I had still never done it live.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Cross that bridge when we come to it. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Exactly. I was like,
yeah.
and it was actually, another thing is, I don't know if, again, people who have not read my book, which I don't give a fuck, but so you wouldn't know the details. I never wanted to be the singer. Like, it was not really, there was not ever this like rivalry between me and John as far as like me wanting to take over his gig or this or that. Like that. No, I kind of got put in that position because he quit. And he used to quit pretty fucking often. And it just got to the point where, I mean, again, it's,
Yeah.
not to talk shit about singers, Mr. Singer, but
you try it. You try it.
But you know what? It's just like, a lot of front men, they're fucking difficult, man. It's like, like they pull fucking all that bullshit because they're not actually writing the song. So it's like they got to find other ways to fucking like.
Oh, you're pushing my buttons. You're pushing my buttons.
My only redeeming value as a singer is that I play bass. No, I'm fucking wrong. No, but anyway.
Hang on. No, do you know what? Let me stop you there, right? Because let me tell you it from a singer's point of view. Because
okay, give me the inside scoop, you prick. Because
no, No, I will. But I'm totally serious, right?
Because you're insecure, you niggas. You ain't got fucking because you ain't got an instrument. So you're like, hey, I'm gonna quit the band.
And nailed it. You nailed it. You nailed it. Yeah. It turns out I haven't got any secrets at all. You knew all along. Yeah, absolutely. Because like being able to play an instrument is a demonstrative, thing. Whereas the whole singing thing is like, for a start, you're making sounds with your body. So straight away, you're more prone to take offense at criticism because it's a sound you made with your body. It's almost like, do you know what I mean? I mean, it's a little oversensitive, I've got to be honest.
But you know what though? At the same time, man, I also understand the pressures being a front man because no matter what, a lot of the focus and the attention is being put on you just by your position. So it's like, and because you're not playing an instrument, the things that you pointed out are very true. You're actually like, people are going to judge you on all kinds of stranger criterias, just even like, your performance isn't just your voice, it's your persona, it's your fucking antics, your whole shit show, So it's like, it's really easy for people. And let's just face it. I mean, all humans have their insecurities, and then you throw a musician or an artist up on stage where they're basically displaying their fucking insecurities. You're up there trying to get validation from motherfucking strangers by fucking showing the world what you do. Look at me. Do you like it?
Absolutely.
Let's fucking call it for what it is. It's like, and I've been playing music so long, like I never actually tried to start playing in a band because I was kind of playing music before I knew what the fuck was going on, and like it was always just so I guess for me that exists too, but it's always been a way to it's always been survival for me because like I literally made my first money in my life when I was a child on the street playing with other kids from my school. So like for me, it's been a source of survival and also acceptance my whole life. So that same approval that all artists are seeking from other people, is kind of what has gotten me through life. It's like, it's funny because I always rip on my mom for having like raised me to be a a quote unquote bohemian. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? You know, like you didn't teach me any life skills. You just taught me how to be like cool. You know, cool is a real man. That shit, you know, you're not always cool. You know, depending on depending on what's going on, and sometimes you step in shit. You're not so cool.
Yeah, absolutely. See that guy? See that guy?
Yeah,
see that guy asleep in the gutter? Yeah,
that
cool,
motherfucker was
cool as fuck.
Yeah, he was the coolest motherfucker on the planet back in the day. Look at him now, mom. You know, that motherfucker. Somebody should taught his ass how to fucking read and write. You know, that might have been helpful. But you know,
yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
I'm not trying to shit on her, but you know, point
no,
is,
we all love our mums. Well, look, there's another question from Ozzy Osbourne's illegitimate love child.
You still at it, motherfucker.
So, basically, his question is, and you probably, the last one was really good, and this one is one that unfortunately everybody wants to. Everyone wants to know.
Okay.
Would the original Cro-Mags? Do you ever see the original lineup getting back together ever?
No, I really actually don't. You know, I really don't. And I'll be honest with you. I mean, look, I hate saying I'll be honest with you because I'm always honest. I got that from my son. He says that to me all the fucking time. I'm like, dude, you don't start a sentence with "I'll be honest" because that insinuates that the rest of the time you're full of shit.
Yeah.
All right. So.
I'll tell you another one. I'll tell you another one, mate.
Yes, give me one.
Another one, which is when you're telling a story yourself or when anyone else tells a story. This is a great bit of advice. Whatever you do, don't say, "I'll tell you a funny story." Shut the fuck up. Keep your powder dry. I'll tell you a story. Yeah.
Yeah, because it may not be as funny to them, and then you look like a real asshole.
You just raised the bar. You needlessly raised the bar.
Bro, I love you, man. I get a lot of good advice here, man. Fuck. All right, so I'm gonna tell you a shitty story. So what the fuck was the question? No, do I see the band getting together? No, I really, sadly, I don't. And you know what? For those of you who followed my my social bullshit media and all that, you see that I've been over the many years. I've extended the olive branch to all these fucking guys a gazillion times, and even with all the bickering that has gone on back and forth and on the interims, I've always been willing to talk. I've always been willing to try to see what everybody could do to fucking just make everybody walk away feeling whole on some level. I mean, nobody's ever going to be happy about anything because that's just, everybody's too bitter, everybody's too pissed off, everybody's too old, But I tried and I fucking tried and I tried and all I really got back was a lot of negativity, hostility, and bitterness. And that ship has kind of sailed. I mean, I'm always willing to talk because I'm not gonna ever, at the end of the day, and I said this to all of them, like, we have the ability to make so many fucking people happy to just give them that moment. And if that doesn't matter to you, like, then, like if you can't get past your own bullshit for like 45 minutes, that first album is only like a half hour long. If you can't put your bullshit aside and get on some sort of platform and play together for 30 minutes and make all those people fucking happy, then you know what? Then you don't really deserve those fans. I mean, if you can't give them that, then they shouldn't give you shit. You don't deserve it, And it's like the only thing that I asked, I don't know if anybody's noticed, but me and old JJ, we stopped talking shit about each other a long ass time ago. Like when the whole settlement ended, that was it, man. We fucking let it go. That was part of our agreement. Was like this shit. When the smoke settles, it's done. It's just like, let's move on with our lives. Leave me out of the press. I leave you out of the press. I got nothing. I'll only ever say something that's true or something that's nice or funny or whatever. I'm just done. I'm done. And and I asked the same of everybody. I'm like, who wants to get on stage and play with somebody who's actively shitting on them and actively like wiping their ass with their face every time they open their mouth? Like, I'm supposed to get up on stage with you when you just talked all kinds of bullshit and I know the history. I actually know the history. and you're gonna keep running your mouth, and I'm supposed to get up and look at you without punching your fucking teeth down your throat? Fat fucking chance, bitch. You know, like, let's have a conversation like two motherfucking men. And then, you know, I ain't trying to prove, look, I'm not a bully. I'm a motherfucking grown ass man. I don't give a fuck. I don't need to intimidate anybody with my toughness and shit like that, you know? I've done kicked enough asses in my time. I don't care. If these motherfuckers ever wanted to have a conversation, you know, we could have a conversation. But just, you know, let it be known, you know, it cost me motherfucking over 250K in my legal entanglements just to fucking get the shit locked down that I owned. That whole fucking legal bullshit was just to get those dudes to stop playing under a trademark that they didn't actually own. I owned the trademark.
Well, there's a follow-up question from Robert Osborne, which kind of
again.
He's this fucker again.
Is he the only fucking person listening to this shit?
I know. But you were kind of wandering into it because his next question was, would you be rich if you actually got any royalties from the Age of Quarrel?
Bro, I haven't fucking gotten jack shit from any of that shit. You know, and part of my goal, and I don't know if you've read all this stuff, Mr. Osborne. I feel like I know you personally now, motherfucker.
I'm sure the feeling is mutual.
Robert, is that his name? Robert. All right, Robert. Yes. Well, look, Rob. You know, I don't know if I'd be rich, but I wouldn't be as fucking. I'd have a little bit more money than I do. That's for goddamn sure. And I have, you know, very publicly made it part of my goal that if and when, I say when, I get the rights to all that stuff back one day, that, you know, I feel everybody who played on every record that they played on should get paid for what they played on. You know, I'm not trying to fuck anybody over. Like, there's been a lot of different players in this band throughout the years, and if I had it my way, there'd be a time that all those records came out on the same label, or there was some sort of effort to just, each person that played on each record should benefit from what they played on, and none of us have. And I think that's a lot of the root of the bitterness and the bullshit, and, you know.
Okay. Well, look. Well, Robert's got a more music question now. Said you've said
guys, that like a three-way between us over here. This conversation.
I know. I mean, he's clearly.
Hey, you know what, man? Hey, Rob, I appreciate you. Thank you. You know, let me see what you got.
Yeah. Let's see. Well, this is a nice one. He said you said that Cronus from Venom was an influence on your bass playing.
Yeah.
Were there any other influences? I'm going to say yes. There was Lemmy.
Of course. Yeah, those are two of my big ones. I'd have to say one of my, also Rainey from Discharge is a huge influence on my playing. But I'd say that one of the biggest influences on my playing is Daryl Jennifer from the Bad Brains, because I grew up watching him play since I was a kid, and I made the switch from drums to bass when he was living in New York, and he was kind of my bass mentor.
Right.
And
if you're gonna have a bass mentor, you better make sure you're playing bass, not drums.
Well, you know what? I've always felt that every musician is a drummer in their soul. You know, it's just like drums is the root of everything.
Dude, that's a shout. I watched that Netflix documentary, Count Me In. It's a documentary on drummers. It's Stephen Perkins of Jane's Addiction is behind. It's the man behind it. And dude, an hour in, I'm just like welling up. You know,
hey, you know what, man? That's the root of everything. We're all born with a heartbeat. You know,
absolutely.
That's where it all starts. So, I mean, my bass playing is very rooted in my drumming. You know, right. I'm a original drummer, so. But Daryl is a very percussive bass player, and he utilized power chords in such a great way, in a similar but different way than Lemmy. Lemmy plays his power chords more like a rhythm guitar, whereas Daryl would use them more to accent certain like cymbal crashes or stuff, like very percussively. He would use it very percussively, like Earl would hit a certain cymbal and Daryl would highlight it with the octave of whatever chord he was playing. So like I picked up a lot of that shit from him. I, you know, really grew up studying him, watching him. He was like my bass hero, and still I gotta say really is. I love him like a big brother. Um, really lucky to have family like that.
Oh, that's awesome,
But
man.
there's a lot of bass players though that I really let's not just say that I just to tell Robert real quick, bro. I
Yeah.
fucking love so many different styles of bass players. I mean, everybody. You know. Obviously, your Bootsy Collins, your Stanley Clarks, and your Jaco Pastorius, and you're this and you're that, and I could go fucking on forever and ever. But those guys that we mentioned, Daryl, Kronos, Lemmy, obviously the great one, and Rainey.
And do you know what? I'm gonna throw somebody in who's never on anyone's lists. And he's one of the most consistent guys. He plays on over 20 albums, and that's Carl Alvarez of The Descendants.
Nasty bass player, yeah.
Absolute,
Very innovative.
yeah.
You know, but the thing is, I was just never really a total. I liked that West Coast punk, but the bass playing was just never really. I
Oh
just had
yeah.
a different.
It-
You know,
it-
I'm.
oh, it's totally different. It's totally different. Carl Tickles his bass player.
Those guys were one of my favorite bands of that era. Like that. You know, I mean, early '80s really produced a lot of great stuff out west. It's just a little different, It's like my favorite West Coast bands, obviously, were like Black Flag, Circle Jerks, and Fear, and shit like that.
Yeah.
Going back
Yeah.
before that, the Germs. Yeah, I liked Wasted Youth. But,
Right. Well, look, I think we've exhausted that question, but that's the end of Ozzy Osbourne's illegitimate love child, Robert Osborne.
yeah. If you're still in touch with your dad,
Yeah. Needs.
What's up?
So moving on, this is Paul Hutchinson. And Paul Hutchinson said, and
What, Paul?
I hope you're listening carefully. What 3 pieces of advice would you give a young Harley based on your life experiences? Good luck with that, Mr. Flanagan.
You know what? It's actually funny you say that because I have a son named Harley, and I'm fucking always giving him advice. So like, I could just sit there and think about that for a second,
That's almost cheating.
Yeah, I know. But you know what? But the difference is me and him are both, experiencing very different things in life and in our surroundings. So if I was, literally to be talking to myself and what I was going through,
yeah, I think that's it.
I think I would have just said, man, don't worry, it's gonna be all right, man. Not to fucking quote Bob Marley, but it's like I did a lot of really stupid shit growing up, and I do have a lot of regrets. People, say you shouldn't regret this, that, the other, whatever. I got a lot of regrets, and but I understand why I did most of the shit that I did. Again, like we were talking about in the beginning, how like when you're wired to behave a certain way early on, you don't really know no better. You're kind of brought up. You're kind of wired for chaos. Like I was kind of wired for chaos before I even knew what the fuck was going on. So it's like,
yeah.
I wish I could have found a way out of dealing with my pain that didn't involve such destructive behavior. I did a lot of drugs, and I did I committed a lot of acts of violence when I was like a skinhead, and, when I was on the streets, and a lot of shit that I had a lot of rage that I didn't know how to process. And I guess not having had a father or any real male adult figures to kind of guide me through that made it difficult. And being, on the street from the age of like kind of like pretty much 15 in what was a really pretty violent neighborhood at the time. Um, I just wish I could have found another way.
So that would be your
the advice I would say, just like, just like hang on, man. You're just like, don't give up. That's really the only advice I always just try to say is, like, because I've lived through so much horrendous shit, like so much fucking madness, and like I'm pretty fucking happy where I am in my life now. Like, it was a fucking real motherfucker to get to a place of happiness, of appreciating love, and I told my son, if I can, he's going through his own shit, and one of them, and I just told him, if I could, I don't want you to be like angry like I was for so much of my life, if you can, if I, uh, all those lyrics on that first album, it's like it's not a joyful record, man. There's a lot of real violence in that shit, and there's, it's not pleasant.
yeah.
I actually, not to sound like whatever, but like, I have fucking therapists that I talk to and shit. It's like I'm pretty fucked up,
Dude, who isn't,
like I think people need to be able to talk about shit, like, and I'm just lucky that I have somebody that I'm able to like not just like spill my my shit to, but can give me a little bit of insight, because like it's one thing to talk
yeah.
to your friends and talk to other people, but they don't necessarily have the knowledge on. Um, they may not be educated in the field of understanding trauma. They may
Yeah.
not be. They may not understand the actual side effects and the physical, mental manifestations of those side effects, and even not just the psychological, but even just like the scientific, like the chemistry involved.
Yeah. The best any friend can do is empathize,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but that only gets you so far. And you're right, you need to be able to, you need to speak to people who
I have a little
understand.
bit of insight, because otherwise it's kind of like trying to learn. I always liken it to like trying to learn like two white belts trying to teach each other jujitsu. Like
That's a
you
great
need to
idea.
it's like
That's a
you're
great
sitting there
analogy.
trying to teach each other. We don't, neither of us know shit. We both,
Yeah.
and it's like, and I think that's a lot of the problem, young people have. I know didn't have anybody really. That's why, kids get wrapped up in gangs and they get wrapped up in all the bullshit. They're looking for acceptance. They're looking for someone that understands their problems. They don't feel like the adults around them really understand what they're going through. And a lot of times they don't. You know, but the problem is people look for acceptance in the wrong ways, as I, did often, and uh, you know, I see that type of shit happening with kids. My son, he's going through a lot of shit for a while. There's a lot of gang shit going on out there, and it's you know. So if I could have, what the fuck advice could I give? I would say learn something else, like not just like don't, like, again, not to shit on my mom, but she really didn't, teach me. She was a hippie, She was like on this kick of like, whatever, like,
Yeah.
kids, big kids are smarter than we are, type shit. They'll figure it out, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. To be honest, I don't know what the fuck kick she was on, but it was like, like learn more than just fucking. You might actually live. Like you might actually be alive long enough to actually have to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
You may survive past 18. No one thought I was gonna, and it's
Yeah.
like, you get to a place and then it's like, oh fuck, like I don't know how to take care of my fucking self. I might have, like told myself like, try to find some other thing. But I didn't have much options, man. I didn't, like I was living in squats. What the fuck options did I have? It's not like, I didn't have the choice.
Well, you see, the thing is as well is that the question is flawed, and that's not in any way a criticism of the question. But the reason the question is flawed is because as well as I do, because if I put myself in your shoes, that if older you gave younger you some advice, younger you would tell exactly, exactly.
Yeah, like go fuck motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah, like motherfucker, what the fuck you know about stealing food?
Oh, you're me in 30.
I do know.
It's like, you're me and you've traveled 30 years back in time to tell me this. Well, that doesn't work because the rule of time travel means we can never meet, you bloody idiot.
Yeah, and dude, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, look, Harley, that's been an absolute blast. I can't thank you enough.
Yeah, man.
Thanks a lot, man.
We get on this fucking shit. I feel like we're just sitting here bullshit. I'm like, oh my god, I'm yapping and yapping.
Oh, dude,
it's not like boring to listen to, but hey, you guys, hey, Robert, is this shit boring to listen to? You seem to be.
Well, look, thank you very much. I'll hit you up all over social media when this is coming out.
Brother, man, very, very cool, man. And for those of you out there, I'm going to be trying to be at these shows fairly early, and we don't have any like meet and greet type bullshit lined up, but I definitely look forward to meeting and greeting as many of you as possible, just saying what's up. And
that's awesome, man. That's brilliant. Nice one.
All right, man.